Hey folks, welcome back to Gaming Garbage. We're going to take a look at games, chat about the gaming news in the industry, and of course stream for fun. Today we're going over gaming news. This is November 27th through December 3rd and a little bit into 4th, but we'll put most of that into next week. So I do want to talk about a correction that I had on my last week. I got to give a shout out to Cue Balls. Really appreciate anybody that actually helps me make sure that my information is correct on my news or any of my reviews. So the thing that he brought to my attention was the PlayStation Portal. He wanted me to check to make sure that you could actually take it outside of the house. Because I said in last week that the PlayStation Portal sold out, basically. It's really hard to find. But that the PlayStation Portal had to be within Wi-Fi connection. Or within PlayStation connection. Through your own Wi-Fi. But as long as you actually have a connection anywhere, you can be anywhere, and as long as your PlayStation is on, the router with your PlayStation is hooked up properly and sending signal, you can actually hook up to it with your PlayStation Portal, which honestly is pretty cool. That's an extra feature that I didn't think it had, because I really think it's trying to copy the Nintendo Switch. We've had several other iterations of this or attempts, but most of them haven't really taken off. But yeah, the correction is that you can actually take it just about anywhere as long as you have the right connections. So at home, you have to have an upload speed of at least 15 megabits per second. Now, the reason this is important is because probably a lot of us either have, like, at least a Lyrica around here on the West Coast, or Xfinity is a really big one, or Comcast, that's the same, Xfinity, Comcast. And that's a really big one, and most of us probably have that, but most of us probably don't have consistent 15 megabits per second. And this becomes a problem because you need to be able to take the data from your PlayStation and upload it, if you want to think of it like the cloud, through your network so that you can send it over to your PlayStation Portal. And then as long as your PlayStation Portal is hooked up, most download speeds are really high anymore. Most of them are like 50 or 100 or even hundreds of megabits per second, so that's not really a problem, but you need at least 15 to 25 megabits to actually download it to your PlayStation Portal and stream it effectively that way. And then you can play it, which is actually pretty cool. So I do want to make that connection. So thanks again, Cue Balls. Thanks for looking out for me. And the rest of you guys, you should too. I always want to, again, be as accurate as I can. So, gaming news, we're going to be taking a look at Activision and one of their skins in the game. Actually, we're going to talk about a couple of them. We're going to take a look at Destiny 2 with some things that they got going on. We got a lawsuit on Sony. We're going to talk about some Fortnite skins. There's a lot of skins in this one. We're also going to talk about Ubisoft having a glitch. We're going to have an update on Space Marines 2. We're also going to talk about some content being removed from a Sony service that doesn't really exist anymore. That's a little complicated, so we'll get into that one. And then we're going to look at another failed port over to Switch, unfortunately. And then lastly, just a little tease about Grand Theft Auto 6. So let's go ahead and get into it. So, of course, the biggest one is probably Grand Theft Auto 6. This literally has 42 million views on Trailer 1 in 7 hours. So as of right now, it's been 7 hours, and so far it has 42 million views and counting. And we know that this is just Trailer 1. There's going to be multiple trailers. At the end of this teaser trailer, we saw that it's GTA 6 is coming in 2025. And so we still have probably a year and a half as a minimum until this game actually comes out. And we know GTA 5 has been running for 10 years. It's crazy to think that it's actually been out this long, but they've kept it going with live service, with, you know, the kind of the casino and the gambling thing, and they've really expanded a lot on different heists. It's really come a long way, actually, from the last time that I played it. And it is pretty cool. There's still actually some official groups that run around, depending on where you live in the world. And GTA definitely has its own group. And I can see GTA running for a long time. I honestly don't know if GTA 5 is really going to be running anymore, though, once GTA 6 comes out. There still might be a few, but like, once you can buy the game, I mean, you're probably not really going to be going back. If it's anything like GTA 5, GTA 6 is probably going to run for another 8 to 10 years. And that's going to make some serious money for Rockstar. Now, we know too with Rockstar that they really like making long term money, and keeping the content flowing and keep people buying well past just the base game mark, or even the digital content that comes over the first year or two. They really want you to keep buying the microtransactions, which is why in their casino in GTA 5 it makes a ton of money for them. And I'm sure they're going to want to keep that going. So there's not really too much that we know. There's a lot of huff and fluff. I was going to do a video solely just on GTA 6, but there's not a ton of confirmed information. So I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait for some time, probably next year. We'll get some more trailers. We'll get some more confirmation about some things about the game. And but there is plenty of content out there. There's already people talking about it, of what they think they believe, or some kind of good leaks or confirmed leaks. So you all are welcome to take a look at that as you wish. Now let's see. Let's talk about Sony. So I got a few things on Sony here. Sony unfortunately has a lawsuit of $7.9 billion due to unfair practices with their store. And so how does this all come about? Well, they basically have a monopoly on a lot of their games, right? And if you're going to have a monopoly, well, you have to price fair, because there still are a few markets like the physical game world, or some digital keys. You can still get some PlayStation exclusive games outside of the store, but the price needs to be competitive if you're going to have that monopoly. If you're not going to have a monopoly, well, then you're able to charge whatever you want. And for those that would rather buy from Sony, or it's just more convenient, or don't do their research on price, they can charge whatever they wish, but you can't do both. And Sony has been charged with charging up to a 30% markup just for some of their games that have already been released for over a decade. So it's kind of crazy. And they are probably not the only ones that have been doing this. I think we're probably I think there was someone else too. I can't remember the company. It was a smaller one, but it was one of the publishers. Maybe it was EA. Honestly, I don't remember. But yeah, this is not an uncommon practice. There was so much stimulus money out all over in 2020 and 2021. A lot of people had a ton of buying power all of a sudden, and when that cash is just sitting there, most of us want to spend it, right? And so tons of companies that hadn't even been around for a couple of years made a bunch of money. And we know, too, that the gaming industry made a ton of money, too. The gaming industry, as of today, is like it's like $120 billion a year now, or something crazy. It's insane. I remember when like 50 billion was a lot, and now it's just blowing that number right out of the water. Might even be 150 now. So there's a ton of money involved, and companies made a ton of money during COVID because people had to stay home. And a lot of communities came about. We kind of got the culture that we do today in gaming and also in the real world, thanks to lockdowns. But yeah, gaming companies, they made a lot of money. And they're kind of not really making that money right now. And so, yeah, they've had some practices, including, charging an extra 20 or 30% compared to, like, would be considered a fair market value with their competitors, if they had any. Because, yeah, again, you can't do both, folks. You can't have a monopoly and charge a ton. That's unfair. But we did see a lot of value go up in games, because a lot of games were delayed. And the games that were left, they got a lot of markup in value for a while. But it was still competitive. Other people could kind of be a part of the ecosystem or a part of the market. So we'll kind of see what happens with this. Sony does have a ton of money. Their stock price has honestly been doing very, very well, just like Microsoft's and a lot of other tech companies out there. So they have a ton of money that they can throw at this. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But this is kind of, depending on what happens, this is kind of a warning too. And honestly, I highly doubt $7 billion is really enough money to give them the slap on the wrist that they maybe don't think they deserve. I'm sure they made a lot more than just $8 billion through their PlayStation Store, especially when they raised prices. So that could actually be part of it too. I'll be following this lawsuit because I think anything that involves the courts really affects the gaming industry after a while, and we need to always keep an eye on that type of stuff to see what happens. Because we love gaming, right? And we don't want it to get any worse than it already is. Also, in other Sony news, there were notices sent out not too long ago that Discovery content is going to be removed. So Sony had a service that they ended in 2021 that was called PlayStation Play, and it's where you could basically buy movies and TV shows digitally and then have the files and all that good stuff, at least have it stored in your library. Well, the issue is that if you don't actually have it downloaded, if you just stream it or whatever from Sony servers, well, Sony is having to get rid of all of their Discovery content because of licensing. So it's expired. They're not going to re-up it, and so that stuff is literally just gone out of your library. Some people are really frustrated about this because some have spent a ton on just seasons of particular shows from Discovery. Discovery has quite a few, and it really sucks that they're not maintaining the licensing agreements. And this, the reason I'm really bringing this up is because this could happen to anything digital. So this could happen to any type of media, whether it's music or whether it's gaming, or again, TV shows and movies, or anything else that is digital. And we pretty much digitize just about anything else under the sun. And so this is a really good warning and kind of wake-up call, is that, if you really do not possess the data and have a way to play it, you don't really own it. It's more like it's on lease. And you buy the ability, or you buy or purchase the approval in order to view and enjoy that content. And so yeah, this is kind of, there's really nothing anyone can do about this. And this isn't either the first time that this has happened. We've had differences with Netflix. I remember Netflix had a huge amount of Marvel stuff, and then when Disney bought them, that stuff was maybe on there less than 12 months, and all of that had to get yanked off, and then it was now going to be a part of Disney. And so licensing changes, we have mergers. It can change a lot of stuff, and nothing stays the same, folks. That statement hasn't been truer than the last few years. And this really sucks. And in the gaming space, even if you have a physical disc, that's still not really enough, because a lot of games now, including like Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 and Jedi Survivor and oh god, what was the other one? I just had it. Anyway, it's late, folks. But there's quite a few games where you don't even have all of the data on the disc, and the companies aren't willing to make 2 or 3 discs of content to have it all on there so that you can actually own it and possess it. And that's another problem with the industry. And for those that are trying to keep up and actually have all of this content, this physical stuff, it's another issue, because eventually the older stuff that they don't make anymore, it breaks down over time. And so no matter what, everybody's screwed ultimately, I think, at the end of the day. But still, this comes into a moral and ethical problem of just, can people pay for stuff, and then can the powers that be just remove it? I don't know. What do you guys think? I really think it's trash. This is honestly one of the reasons why I have not gone back to Destiny. I really enjoyed it, but like Destiny 2 today, over half of the content that used to be there is gone. And sometimes they cycle through some of it, and some of it, it's never come back. And again, this is stuff that people paid for. So this is not a new problem. This has still been happening for all of this decade so far, since before even 2020. And we need to pay attention that, digital is convenient. But if you don't, again, possess it or own it in your hand, you don't really possess it. It's not really yours. You're just buying the privilege to use it. So remember that. Let's see. So let's talk about some skins. Let's start with Activision, with Call of Duty. So I do play Warzone. Some of you know that. I have COD friends as a playlist that I've started on my channel. And anything COD related, I'll be dumping there. So Lion and I have done some gun games. We also did a gun game with Panda, which was fun. I've also played with I'm gonna get the name wrong. G Dizzle, Mama Rogers, and Cue Balls, and Samwise Gabby, and we've played some games, Search and Destroy or Warzone, but Warzone's a pretty big one for us, and we enjoy it. But in Warzone, they've done some pay-to-win stuff. And ultimately, this is what some of this is. They don't come out and say it that way, but like they had a Rosa skin that was related to some type of like Spec Ops or whatever, and this thing was absolutely pitch black. Well, you technically can't buy it anymore, or they've nerfed it some, because they had enough complaints that it wasn't fair. But like you could hide in the shadows and just disappear. And now we have another skin that, for any of us that play Warzone, we know, because people keep buying it and we keep seeing it out there. We see it every single game now, at least multiple times, almost every game. And it's known as the Groot skin, or the tree skin. And so yeah, you look like a bunch of roots and vines and branches in kind of a humanoid form, but you can blend into bushes real well. You can blend in with kind of dirt or sagebrush, whatever. And even at distance, it's kind of hard to see exactly where the body is, because a lot of the Groot skin is porous. You can see through a lot of it. So there's a lot of advantages. And so what they've done is that they've actually removed it from the store. At least last time I saw, I couldn't actually find it in the game. But again, maybe that was just for Warzone. Maybe it's not for Modern Warfare 2. I don't know, maybe I should check again, just to be sure. But I do believe it's removed from purchase. And then they've also updated the skin so that it's got fire in it now, and some other kind of looking organs in the chest, so that it's easier to spot and easier to see. And again, it's like, they're like, oops, sorry, we accidentally made a skin that has an advantage on the field that's kind of pay to win. And they know exactly what they're doing, folks. This isn't anything new either. We know that with microtransactions, there's definitely advantages, or there's certain guns that operate better than others, and we always have this constant rebalancing effect with our firearms or weapons in various video games. But now it's going to be our skins too, because they're going to create something that people can pay 10 or 20 bucks for, and then they'll, after they get the bulk of their money, they'll decide, oh, well, hey, we'll nerf it, even though everybody actually paid for this. And again, this kind of comes back to what Sony's having to do with their discovery content with PlayStation Play is, is that technically legal? Because if you buy something, understanding the product, and then the product changes or is no longer available, in my opinion, that's fraud. Legally, that is fraud. But if you purchase it and you get it and then it changes later, is that fraud? I don't know. Apparently it's not so far, but I think that's a really slippery slope too. Because again, whether it's discovery content or stuff on or some kind of other service like Disney Plus, or whether it's like Game Pass, or whether it's skins in Call of Duty, we're getting to a point where we really kind of don't own much and we don't control much. And I think that's a scary slope right there. Some other skins is that Destiny 2 is trying to revive their player base, and they're having the Witcher skins with this new season. And honestly, their skins have kind of become their DLC train to keep players engaged, keep them focusing and moving towards something. I mean, there's seasons too, and there's more things to do and work toward, and there's different type of like legendaries and stuff, which is great and all. But man, we've been doing that for over 10 years. And so, if the best they can really come up with is just kind of not even a lot of story stuff, but just skins that you can work for or buy, then yeah, their DLC is pretty weak right now. And we know too that the final shape was delayed. That was their last big DLC for the game. And so it's going to be interesting kind of what they do and what they try to fill it with. But yeah, it looks like it's skins right now. And that's honestly really weak. I can't imagine too many people are really playing Destiny. A lot of people are probably waiting for the final shape, or like me, have already quit or don't really care that much anymore. I just keep up with it because I'm sure there's some Destiny fans out there on my channel, or at least there could be. But I mean, is this really what we want our DLC to be? Again, talking about Modern Warfare and WarZone and Destiny, it's just skins, folks. It's just skins. It's not actually doing anything. And like I said, too, over 50% of the content on Destiny 2 has been removed. So, I mean, what are we paying for? What are we really paying for? When I play Warzone, I have a flippin' blast. And that's why people also love Destiny, including myself at one point, is again, it was playing with the people, it was experiencing things, it was having a good time. That's living. And you can simulate some of that through video games, and that's why we do it. That's why we do it. But when we're just having content thrown at us, or the opportunities to purchase more stuff when it really doesn't mean anything at the end of the day, or they can change it just like the Groot skin. I mean, is this what it's becoming? Unfortunately, I think it is. And Bungie, too, has a major problem. Destiny 2 is hemorrhaging players. People really pissed off with the Lightfall DLC, which is the last DLC that we had. Real DLC. That added some story. But yeah, we gotta wait for the final shape. That's not coming out, I think, until February. So we still got several months to wait for that. And then after that, there's really not anything. I mean, what is there to do? And then, too, we know that Marathon is delayed. And then Bungie really doesn't have anything else. So yeah, they're just trying to sell skins right now. And I kind of feel pity for them in a way. Because these are people's jobs. They already had a lot of layoffs. And we're kind of blindsided. And Sony also had some layoffs too during the same time period. Which Sony does own Bungie. For those of you that don't know. But yeah, I think Bungie is in a real problem. And the only content they have left for Bungie, or excuse me, for Destiny 2, is just a couple of years. That's it. Final shape might extend that a little bit with the delay, but probably not by much. We know that a lot of their cookies are going to go straight into Marathon, and that's going to be their next game they're going to sell you skins on. It just sucks, folks. It's almost like some companies don't even make games anymore. It's really depressing. Also, Fortnite, again, that has been the probably worst skin thing I've ever seen. You know, if Modern Warfare 3 is horrible, you know, or COD is horrible with skins, freaking Fortnite has a disease, man. I mean, they got every skin in the book you could think of, and they still trying to sell them for, you know, anywhere from $10 to $40 depending on the pack and number of skins and all of that stuff. So yeah, but again, Fortnite's a free-to-play game. So in that respect, yeah, I can see that. They need a way to make money, and that's actually kind of how it all started. And then instead of actually pre-order content with missions and stuff or weapons, then it's like, hey, you get skins, and now they just try to sell the skins all the time. And it sucks. It really sucks. Let's see, an update on Space Marines 2. This is a series I really enjoy. If any of you know Warhammer 40K, you know it's a futuristic kind of dystopian environment between different races, including humans and aliens and all sorts of stuff. And it's actually quite a vibrant lore and culture and world, universe really, that's been made. And it's pretty incredible. And so Space Marines, it came out quite a while ago, I believe, for the 360. I had a lot of fun with it. I enjoyed it. Or maybe it was toward the beginning of Xbox One. But it's been around for quite a while. And we finally got a trailer earlier this year for Space Marines 2. So I was super excited about this, and we were supposed to be getting it pretty soon, but it's been delayed now until summer of 2024. What a bummer. Not really a lot said about it. Just say, hey, we're going to polish it up. We're going to make it better for you. Summer of 2024. It's like, okay. Now, we've heard this before from other games. Sometimes the game is delayed multiple times. Skull and Bones. And other times, we find out that there's crazy turmoil happening in the company, whether with the devs or leadership or whatever, or that development isn't really going well. So I hope it's going well. Fingers crossed. I really do want to see this, and this too is supposed to be, I think, the first multiplayer game in the series. Space Marines 1 was, just a single player game, but this one is supposed to be multiplayer. So I hope they do that justice, because it was so fun to play the first one. I enjoyed it. It was quite immersive. Let's see. Oh, we got to talk about Ubisoft. So Ubisoft ended up having a glitch. Wink, wink, glitch. So this has finally been coming up. We've probably seen it already if you watch any amount of gaming news at all. But apparently in Assassin's Creed... excuse me, it's late, folks. Apparently in Assassin's Creed, one of the games, Odyssey, ended up showing ads for Mirage when a guy opened the screen for the map. I'm not even kidding. We're totally in the game. The guy's running around doing his thing. He saved a screenshot, so it is out there, folks. I've seen it myself today. And he goes to open the map, and the ad pops up first. Full screen. I mean, what a load of trash. We already know we're in microtransaction hell. We're probably at the second or first level, right? We got a long ways to go to the bottom. This is going to get a lot worse before it gets better. But literally shoved advertisements in your gaming experience. How horrible. How would you like to walk into a hub or a trading post and whoop, buy the next game, blah, 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 and then you got to actively exit out of it in order to get back to your game. That's horrible. That shouldn't even be in there. Ubisoft officially apologized. They kind of blew it off for a little bit, but there's enough backlash they decided to make an official statement saying that it was some type of a glitch, and that also this has happened before, like back in 2020, but it really didn't gain any publicity. But this time it did. So, yeah, I kind of hope Ubisoft fixes their stuff. Now, Ubisoft games usually have other ads at like the main menu screen or at the title screen, right? Something like that, where there's kind of things in the corner or off to the side, where they're promoting stuff, and that's fine. Okay, we kind of expect that. It's their games, it's their IPs, they can do that. But when you're totally in a game, man, you should not be breaking the immersion. Some of us really don't have very long, and it really pisses us off. Just like with YouTube ads, right? It's free, so we accept it. But, you're getting into a discussion or some conversation or whatever, and you're just like, oh my gosh, another ad for a car I'm never going to be able to afford to buy, or some stupid thing you don't even care about. And, again, it's just stuff in your face. So, unfortunately, advertisers are getting more brash. And whether this is a, quote, glitch or not, yeah, I think it is a reality that's coming too, unfortunately. We're going to have another thing that's changed in the gaming industry. It really isn't going to benefit us at all, and that's honestly going to be quite frustrating. And yeah, I got to share this too. The future of ads is just becoming more of a thing. So we had this with Starfield, we've had this with Call of Duty, and now we've had this with Assassin's Creed. And this has been allowed or even pushed by Microsoft, Bethesda, Activision, and Ubisoft. And I'm sure EA has done it too, but I don't really play a lot of their sports games. But I wouldn't put it past them either. And so, yeah, it's just another trend that's happening this year that's just starting to catch traction, and I'm really not a fan of it. Let's see, one of the last things, we got to talk about the failed Switch port of the Batman Arkham trilogy. Now, Rocksteady Games made this, and the Batman Arkham trilogy was seen as a really great series. I do own it myself, quote unquote, digitally own, right, folks? And I do own it myself. I haven't played much of them because and I got so much other stuff to play. I'm really behind, but I'll probably be like that for the rest of my life. I'll have stuff to play forever until I die. But this is a really good series. Graphically, it's very good. It's very immersive in the story. It holds true to the characters. It's fun to play, right? They did a good job. And Rocksteady is also making Suicide Squad, but we're not as excited for that one. And we also know that Gotham Knights, also out of Warner Brothers, really just... I'm not excited to play that with Lion, but we'll get to that eventually. But yeah, Gotham Knights is just not the same, and then Suicide Squad, in my opinion, even looks worse. So, I don't know. We'll see. There's trailers out there. I do want to get my hands on Suicide Squad, so hopefully I can sometime next year. But boy, looking at this Switch port, okay, now the comparisons that I did see was the Switch compared to the PC and some Series X, PlayStation, and Series S images. A lot of the images were from PC, so of course that's the greatest disparity between the two. But even just looking at the Switch, you can tell it's like PlayStation 2 graphics, dude. It is really bad. Like Commissioner Gordon or some of the other, creatures or enemies in the game. I even saw one where there's an entire backdrop of the sky and the moon and the clouds. It's all missing behind Batman. It's like, what is this? And also we got a port from the Switch not too long ago, which was Mortal Kombat. And again, just the textures are missing. The reflectiveness of certain metals or like off of sunglasses is gone. There's no depth or animation really to the face. It's just really, really bad. So these ports that are going to Switch, technically it's not illegal, but we really don't know how bad they are until people actually buy them, unfortunately. So, and that's why we have some channels out there like Young, yeah, Mr. Matty Plays, and the Angry Joe Show, where I get most of my news, honestly. I really love these guys because they really care about the industry just like I do, and none of us want you guys to get screwed out of your money, right? And man, if I had enough, I would be buying a ton of games and at least playing a few hours, 2 hours in or 3 hours in, and stream it and share with you guys my kind of final initial thoughts of a review or something. Because getting screwed out of your money, especially during recession when times are hard, all of us would probably say we've had our food bills go up by almost double, maybe 50% for heating and energy or gas. I mean, life is just expensive right now, and that doesn't include insurance, that doesn't include clothes, that doesn't include, trying to have fun and just go to the movies for $12 a ticket. It's just insane, folks. And so yeah, it really sucks when we have games like this, of great series, by the way, and they come out horrible. I mean, again, not too long ago we talked about Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1. It was horrible. It's horrible, and I'm waiting for a sale. I eventually want to buy it, and I'll probably eventually buy a Volume 1 or Volume 2 as well. But this is incredibly frustrating. I mean, these companies are just wanting to get money out of your pocket. They're selling you the name, and they're giving you trash. So just keep your head on a swivel, folks, because honestly, this is getting pretty bad. We have some wonderful games coming out this year. We've had some wonderful games and DLCs that are coming too. But man, we've had some horrible ones as well. And you just be aware. Just do your research out there. And as always, we're going to try to help you stay informed here on the channel. So thanks for tuning in, folks. You can always find me over at Twitch at Don't Tread on Thee. I do stream all of this stuff. This is how I stream all of this stuff for free. And I don't necessarily look at my chats for everything. I try to look at my chats as best as I can, but I will be honest, it's not very good. So most of my energy and focus is on YouTube, and that's where I'll, comment back, or I'll leave comments about certain things. And then, of course, pretty much everything I do here is archived on YouTube at Gaming Garbage 22. So go ahead and check that out. There's plenty of content on there. I know it's pretty busy with playlists, but I think the playlists are pretty self-explanatory. If you have feedback about the channel, again, like what Cue Ball had, that's wonderful. I really enjoy that. This channel is for you guys just like it is for me. And yeah, if I get something wrong, I am only human. Give me some grace there. But I'm really trying to be accurate. And yeah, when I mess up somewhere or could do better at the channel, please let me know. I can't take all of the advice. Like I've had some people say, hey, you need a camera. And it's like, well, I don't really have a place to do that. I mean, I'm doing this at 11:30 at night, and I still got to get it uploaded and stuff before I head to bed. And I'm waking up at 4:30 in the morning to go to work. So I'm doing the best I can, folks. And I appreciate the grace that you guys give me, and being here and watching the channel. So hopefully you guys are well. Keep plugging on with your week, just like me. I'm working 72 this week, and I'll see you on the next one.